oh no, you've got gophers. And chances are, if you're watching this video and you live in the western United States of America, you have a particularly nefarious type of gopher called the pocket gopher. These guys are difficult to trap, but I'm gonna show you how I do it as a professional every single day. Now, philosophers say, know thine enemy, and pocket gophers mean business. They spend 99.9% of their life underground feeding off of roots. In fact, the term rodent comes from the Greek word to gnaw, and that's exactly what they're doing. They are gnawing on all the tree roots and the plants inside of your flower beds, underneath the base of your plants, your rose bushes, so on and so forth. Here in California, people with gazanias, forget it. You're gonna have a hillside full of gophers. So you have to keep this in mind if you're going to trap them. Now, in order to trap gophers, first you have to know how they live and you have to have the proper tools. I'm gonna tell you how they live. Now let's focus on the tools. First, you need a good trap. There's many different types of traps out there and they all work. I prefer the Gopher Getter trap because it's reusable and it's clean. The Victor gopher traps, for example, that you can buy at Lowe's or at Home Depot, they're a bloody mess when you bring up that gopher. So I like these because they're very clean and they're very efficient. You can spend a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of wasted money on all kinds of different baits and gels and different types of poisons at Home Depot and at Lowe's and at other hardware stores that advertise to get rid of gophers. But the truth is, until you see the body, you're not quite sure if they're gone. So I recommend trapping. Now, in order to get the trap in the soil properly, you gotta have a good trowel. I recommend the ones you can buy at Home Depot with the green handles and the serrated edge. It makes it easier to cut around dirt and sod. Second, you need a bunch of those goofy little construction flags that your gardeners mark your sprinkler heads with. Next, you're gonna need a brick in order to cover the trap. And if you've done everything right and you wanna speed the process up a little bit of peanut butter never hurt anybody. Now, once you have all the proper tools, let's go find your gopher mound. These aren't mole mounds, these aren't vole huts, these are gopher mounds. And you can tell they're gophers because they've got this crescent shape to them with a little dirt cap in the middle. Rodents, better said gophers, push out the dirt. And once they're finished pushing out the dirt to clean it up, they cap it off with that little dirt cap in the middle. You're gonna use this to your advantage because that's where you're gonna start digging. But before you start digging, you gotta find the tunnel system. So what I do is I take a long screwdriver, or sometimes even the construction flag itself, and I probe around that crescent-shaped mound. Once you feel the probe slip, you know you found a tunnel, and that's where you start digging. Now, you're gonna find one of two things. You're either going to find the exit tunnel that the gopher has taken to get to the mound, or you're going to find a tunnel that splits into two directions. Purists will tell you, you need to find that main tunnel, it's called, and put one trap to the right and one trap to the left. However, in my personal experience, I've found that as long as you find the exit tunnel and you properly dig it out and you place your trap inside, you're going to catch the gopher. Now, if you do find that the tunnel splits into two directions, you gotta place two traps. But if all you have found is the one tunnel that leads to the surface, you're good. Place one trap down there with a little bit of peanut butter behind it, and you're going to catch the gopher. So, I'm gonna show you exactly how to set this trap. Take a look. Okay, so this is how you set a basic Gopher Getter trap. First, you buy the trap, okay? Now, once you've got the trap, you gotta know these are what are called the tines. These are the parts that are actually gonna wrap around the gopher, okay, and kill the gopher. Now you take this little metal nub that you see at the end of the trigger relay right there, and you make sure that it's grabbing down onto the tines, okay? Once you have it, it should look something like this. Now make sure the back half of that trigger relay goes inside that little corner of the trigger. Right there, you see how that's going over it? Now, if it's set properly, this nub should be holding the tines down, and the back of that nub should be right there in the back of the trigger. Perfect. Now hold down onto it like this and make sure you hold very carefully or else you're gonna hurt yourself in the next step. Now with one motion, you should be able to twist this trap around and set it. And slowly let go of the trigger. Make sure you don't have anything in front of the tines or else you're gonna hurt yourself. And the idea is that now the trigger is properly set. And If you've got a hole right here, you can stick it inside of the hole, okay? And the gopher is going to come through the tines. It's going to find the little trigger right here. It's going to hit the trigger and snap. You've caught your gopher. So once again, really fast. Take the trap, open the tines, make sure the first nub is over the tines and the back of that trigger relay is caught in the back trigger right there. Perfect. And then with one fell swoop, you set the trap and it's ready to rock and roll. Now, once you've placed the trap properly inside of the tunnel, you're going to cover it with a half brick or with a stone or with a paver stone or anything heavy that's going to keep dogs digging into it, okay? And before you place that trap, I put on the back of all of my gopher traps a long string, okay? This is so that A, I can mark it with a construction flag so it's easy to find later, but also because sometimes when that trap snaps, the gopher will push back into its galleries, into its tunnels, and you're going to lose a $10 trap. These traps are expensive because they're reusable and they're very durable. So why lose a $10 trap every time you have to kill a gopher in your yard? So make sure you harness the trap, it's called, or you tie something to it. I prefer paracord myself. However, you can use small chains, you can use metal bits of string, you can use rope, whatever you prefer. Now, once you've placed the trap, you've put peanut butter behind it, you've covered it, and you marked it with your flag, all you gotta do is wait. It's a waiting game. Wait 24 to 36 hours, no more. And if you place the trap correctly and there is indeed a gopher inside of that tunnel, you're gonna catch him. Take a look, it really works. And remember, if you've waited more than 24 to 36 hours with no luck in your trap, it's probably because the gopher figured out what it was, buried the trap, and moved along. Just find another mound and place the trap accordingly, and you're good. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at unipest.com.